I'm giving out one bet for every single fight this weekend at UFC Vegas 109. If you guys are new here, we're not a prediction channel. We're not breaking down these fights. We're literally going through these matchups and giving out one bet that I think is going to hit for every single fight. Last weekend, we had 12 fights on the card. We hit 6 bets. We kicked it off with more plus money. You guys know the new rule. On the first fight on every single card, we got to give out plus money. I'm going to get into these fights in just a second, but I do like this card a lot more from a betting standpoint, from props, over-unders, underdogs, all of that stuff, way more than last week. So last thing that I will say, and then we'll get into it, is if you guys do want to support me, if you've made money off these bets, sign up at Better Picks and use code Nolan to get you a 100% deposit match bonus, and you can win up to 100 times your money. I'm never going to accept the donations, the Venmos, none of that. I don't want any of your money. This is the way you can support me right here if you feel inclined to do so. Enough yapping. Let's get right into these fights. We got a late add-on to this card for the first fight of the night. We're getting Cody Brundage and Eric McConico. I actually think this fight could turn into a banger, okay? If you don't remember Eric McConico, he came onto the UFC and had to fight Nursultan Ruzabayev. Now, Nursultan is big for the division. He's 6'5". That's a tough debut. I mean, you're under the bright lights, all the nerves of your debut. He just couldn't get his hands going. He was just kind of standing there. You could tell he was a little bit frozen, and that's just not how he's fought on the regional scene. I mean, he's been in wars on the regional scene. He's shown that he can wrestle a little bit, has decent grappling, and is notoriously pretty durable with a little bit of power in his hands too. So that's the style you got to have to beat Cody Brundage, if I'm being honest. I mean, you look at Cody. Cody is going to bring the fight in every single first round that he's in. It's burned him a few times. It's got him wins. I go all the way back to the Jacob Malkoun fight when he got the DQ win for getting hit in the back of the head. You know, his next win, he's stuck in an he's stuck in a triangle choke, and he slams Zachary Reese and gets the knockout win. Gets submitted by Bo Nickel, gets the no contest against Abdul Razak Al Hassan because he's getting hit in the back of the head. He's about to lose to Julian Marquez in round 1, and the ref stops the fight to give Cody his mouthpiece back, and it gives him that split second. The ref says go, and he lands this shot that wobbles Marquez and eventually finishes him from there. And then he goes in there against Mansour Abdul Malik, has a close fight, a pretty boring fight, a little bit too reserved. And it ended up being overturned to a no contest because the shot that put Cody down ended up being a headbutt. So, you know, Cody has this weird streak. I mean, yes, he beat Julian Marquez, but outside of that, like, this guy realistically could be on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, eight fights in a row where he could have technically lost, I guess, maybe 9. So, you know, if he doesn't come out here and finish McConico in round 1, I think if McConico just pushes the pace, like, that's going to be to his benefit, honestly. If you can wear down Cody Brundage, that's how you beat him. You got to survive round 1. Cody is extremely talented. His gas tank and his chin just sometimes fail him. And once he starts eating shots, that's when he really slows down. Sometimes it happens a couple minutes into fights. I think if McConico comes out a little bit more ready here, you know, he's at the MMA lab. This guy is going to be ready. He's got good training partners, good coaches. So you know what? Plus money, first fight of the night, give me Eric McConico to beat Cody Brundage. This is a short notice Cody Brundage too. I expect McConico to be in better shape than Cody here, just knowing that, you know, Cody sometimes outside of camp, he doesn't seem like he's, you know, got the greatest cardio as it is. So I'll take a shot on the dog here. Plus 150 right now. This line's starting to go down too. It's getting closer and closer to a pick 'em. I believe it's going to, at least by fight night. So yeah, give me McConico plus 150. That's what we're doing. Plus money, first fight of the card. All right, next fight, Gabriela Fernandez, Yulia Stoliarenko. This fight for Yulia is, I think she's got to be round 1 submission or bust, if I'm being honest. We've seen her pull off good subs in the past. Like, she's very talented, and they usually come by armbar. Like, she throws that in there. She's very sneaky, and if you're Gabriela Fernandez and you knock her down or you land a takedown or whatever reason you're landing up on top, I just think Gabriela's just got to do everything possible to just get back to her feet, back away, throw some punches to get Yulia to let go of anything she's hanging on to, and just stand up and make Julia stand up, and that's going to wear her down over and over. I mean, Stoliarenko submitted Molly the Can. She submitted Jessica Rose Clark. She's lost to everybody else she's fought, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights if you count the one on the Ultimate Fighter. So you're getting knocked out by Luana Carolina in your last fight, and now you're fighting Gabriela Fernandez, who finished Kong Wang. I mean, Gabriella, I don't think she's underrated. I think people realize she has skills. I mean, she lost to Teresa Bleda and Jasmine Jazz Davicius, but winning against Carly Judici, knowing what Judici's been doing, and then submitting Wang Kong, knocked her down first, had her badly hurt. Impressive stuff. I think she's getting better. The striking's there. The physicality is definitely there. I think she's either going to knock out or submit Yulia Stoliarenko. So for this fight, give me Gabriela Fernandez, knockout or submission. So fight to end by finish, -120. I think she's coming for the head here. I mean, if she gets another finish win, that's Kong Wang she finished, Carly Judici she beat by decision, and if you can finish Yulia Stoliarenko, it does wonders for your career. You're moving right up. 2 finishes in a row in women's MMA. The UFC is going to take notice. That's what we're rocking with. I like this play a lot. I think it's smacking. But this next fight could be a banger. Uros Medic taking on Gilbert Urbina. Oh, man, I've been back and forth on who I think actually has the best chance to pull this fight off because I look at Medic, and I think he's definitely the better striker, obviously. He's got power. His kicks are good. We've seen him knock guys out at the UFC level before, but we've also seen him drop the ball at this level before, too, and that's what makes me nervous in this spot. I mean, I look at the Punahele Soriano. I mean, he's probably a better, more technical fighter than Puna, but Puna, has that power, and it just took one shot, and he flatlines him, puts the lights out for a second, gets the KO. Knocks out Tim Means. That's a good win. Tim Means is pushing 40, but Tim Means is tough. Loses to Miktabek Oralbai by sub. That was Oralbai's debut. He came in on short notice, fought Medic, beats him. He was losing to Matthew Simmelsberger, I thought, in the first couple of rounds, and then finds that knockout late. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely skilled, and he has the ability to knock people out. If you look at all of his wins, they all come by knockout. All 5 of his wins at the UFC or Contender Series level come by knockout. His 2 losses, or 3 of his losses, 2 of them are by sub, 1 of them is by knockout. This guy is involved with a finish every single time he steps into the octagon. And for Gilbert Urbina, the guy got knocked out badly by Charles Radke. Before that, he knocks out Orion Kosi. And before that, he had a good showing against Brian Battle until he got submitted in the second round. So, this guy's involved with nothing but finishes as well. This one's easy for me, man. I mean, I think either guy is going to be live to find the finish on the other. So I'm going to take under 2.5 rounds. It's -250 right now. It's going to be a parlay piece, but I'm not confident in Medic at this number. This number is insane. I actually kind of like the dog shot here on Gilbert Urbina if you're needing to play a money line side. But for me, I didn't want to pull the trigger. He's been off for a year and a half here, and he's coming off a knockout loss. Like, I don't know what the confidence is like. We've seen him knocked out. He's going up against another knockout artist. I didn't really like the dog shot for me. I think that is the side if you're playing it straight up. But I'm just going to put this in a parlay, under 2.5, -250, and move on. It's one that's going to be fun, but I don't really think you have to get super invested with your money in this fight. There's nothing wrong with passing. If you're going to make money in this game, you got to learn to pass sometimes on fights. All right. I actually like this matchup a lot for a few reasons, and I'll tell you why. Jocelyn Edwards versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Jocelyn Edwards, whatever it is, she's been a cash cow for me in the UFC. Her latest cash for me, hold on, let me go back. Tamirez Vidal, when she submitted her in round 3, it was plus 1,100 for sub, and I love playing the submission props on these girls because I've watched Jocelyn Edwards in her tape, and she will jump on the neck. She'll go for subs right when fights hit the ground. She's very strong. She has good top pressure. And, Priscilla Cachoeira gets stuck on her back. It's like she's a fish out of water. You wouldn't think so. But once girls get her down, like, she doesn't get up all that often, and she gives up her back when she does. And Jocelyn Edwards, I mean, I think the grappling's coming along. The striking's there. I mean, we saw her just knock out Chelsea Chandler, who's notoriously tough. Like, that's what all Chandler is known for being, is from Stockton, and she's super tough. Jocelyn Edwards knocked her out in round 1. Before that was the submission of Tamirez Vidal. Before that, she's just fighting girls like Island Perez, who's taking her down, better grappler. Lucy Pudilova, she beat her, but Lucy took her down a couple of times. When she has the grappling advantage, that's where I've noticed Jocelyn Edwards, does some really, really good work. So she took Nora Cornell down 5 times in that fight. The Vidal fight is what really sticks out to me here. Vidal hits hard, good striker. and, was going for a lot of grappling of her own there, but Jocelyn was just too strong, too good at cardio, took her down 4 times, eventually found the sub. Priscilla Cachoeira is known for her power, and she knocks girls out. She has a ton of knockouts for women's MMA, but she's been submitted 4 times in the UFC. So, Jocelyn, if she wants to get her to the ground, I think that's her easiest path to victory here. I think it's going to wear down Cachoeira. Cachoeira does seem to get tired at times, and eventually a finish, I believe, is going to come. I was going to take Edwards just straight up by sub. I think it's like plus 400, plus 375. But for this one, man, the fight to end by finish is plus 125. And you're covering both sides. You cover that knockout from Edwards. We saw it in their last fight. She's got the hands and kicks. It covers the sub for Edwards, but also covers that knockout for Cachoeira in case she catches Jocelyn, because we've seen Cachoeira do it time and time again. So, yeah, for this fight, we're going fight ends by finish, plus 125. I think it's a great number, getting good plus money on something that I think is going to happen here. That's what we're going to rock with. I think we hit this one. I'm pumped for this one. Let's move on to the next fight. A good prospect, Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama. I'll actually say, Kazama can be dangerous in round 1. We've seen him land knockouts when he's been a massive underdog like this before. When he fought, who was it? No, he got knocked out by Garrett Armfield. I was thinking of somebody else. But in his last fight against Charlotte Lampos Gregorio, the guy's getting outstruck. The guy got knocked down, and he pulls off this submission in round 2 via triangle. Kind of came out of nowhere. And, Charlotte Lampos, though, I chalk it up to him just not really being UFC level. He hasn't really shown anything. I believe he's been cut since. He lost to Chad and Hellinger as the favorite. He knocked out Cameron Smotherman on the Contender Series, but outside of that, he just hasn't really amounted to anything. Before that, Kazama is losing to Garrett Armfield by knockout round 1, loses by knockout round 1 to Rinya Nakamura. I will say, these aren't terrible levels of competition. His losses, his wins aren't great. I'm just not sure what Kazama is going to have in this spot against Elijah Smith that's going to warrant me taking a dog shot on him here. Elijah Smith has shown to have good wrestling, averages 4 takedowns per 15 minute. He's relatively high volume on the feet, almost 4 significant strikes per minute. It's not like he's super low volume. He's very technical at the striking, has shown power in the past, maybe not so much at this level yet. He fought Aaron Tao on the Contender Series, who's very tough. Beat him, took him down 5 times. He beat Vince Morales in his UFC debut. The strikes were even, took him down 3 times. His strikes landed with more impact. His control was pretty good for the most part. Got caught in a few submission attempts, which you might got to watch out for in this spot. But ultimately, man, I just don't really like the chin of Kazama. Grappling-wise, I don't think he's going to go out there and out-wrestle Elijah Smith to put himself in good situations to get the sub. I think Elijah Smith is going to be more physical and a lot stronger and especially a lot faster on the feet. I don't care how Smith gets it done here, but I think he's going to get the finish in round 1 or round 2. So for those reasons, I'm going to take this fight not start round 3 at minus 180. I just couldn't find too many props I liked. You get the round 1 finish prop. It's hardly plus money. Round 2, plus 250, plus 300. Not really my type or my style in this type of fight. So I'm just going to play it safer. Take this fight not to start round 3, or you could find the under 2.5. Something like that. That's what I'm rocking with. It's kind of a your time to shine spot for Elijah Smith. Vince Morales is a tough debut. I think they like him as a prospect. I think he's got loads of talent. So here's, Kazama, go finish him, prove a point, make a statement. I think that's what Smith knows he's got to do in this spot. I think that is what he's going to do at the end of the day. So give me Smith to win and under 2 rounds. Fight does not start round 3. All right, Julius Walker is back in the UFC against Rafael Cerqueira. Julius Walker is a guy who just fought Alonzo Minifield. He's a guy who played college basketball and transitioned to mixed martial arts later on in life compared to a lot of these guys, whereas Rafael Cerqueira had a little bit of excitement around him coming into the UFC. I believe he was undefeated, 11-0 coming into the UFC, and then he gets knocked out by Ibo Aslan, where he only landed 1 significant strike, looked like he was a deer in headlights, froze up, but that was his debut. Comes in again against Modestas Bukauskas and basically does the same thing. Threw a few more strikes, landed a little bit more, but gets knocked out within, 2.5 minutes into the fight by Modestas Bukauskas. So, the problem with this fight for me, and Julius Walker being such a massive favorite, is that Walker's a little bit inexperienced. He's a little bit green to the sport. He's an athlete for sure. But Rafael Cerqueira just hasn't been able to show us what he's about, what he's got, what his skills are really going to be. If you look at his record, the guy pulls off subs. He's got some head kick knockouts, flashy at times. He just can't pull the trigger in the UFC. And I don't know if it's a mental block or what it is. But, if he comes out here, I'm not going to be surprised if he comes out here and just looks 100% different than he has, and he's more aggressive, and he's, fighting decent for himself. I just think Julius Walker, with that athletic ability, with the wrestling and the strength, eventually I think he's just going to overwhelm Rafael Cerqueira, hit him with some big shots, maybe ground and pound, that type of thing here. This is a type of fight, though, that if you're putting Julius Walker's in your parlay, I don't know. It seems like a fight that could be busted just based off the fact, not that he's a bad fighter. I just don't think him at this point in his career deserves to be minus, whatever he is right now, minus 650. Like, that's wild to me. Absolutely wild. The under is chalked to minus 270. You can't really do anything with that. This is a tough fight to really, pull the trigger on any type of bet because everything's so chalked. Everything's big money. You look at minus 650 on the money line, minus 270. The way that I'm going to play this, let me get to it real quick and pull it up. Honestly, I think you have to find round props. I guess the only way to go on this fight, and I'm going to pull them up in just a second. All right. Yeah, I think you take Julius Walker to win in round 1 at minus 150. Put, 3 units on that. And then you hedge out with Julius Walker round 2 at plus 380. And like I always say, make it to where you're making money no matter what. It's the only thing that I can really find in this spot. Like, is Julius Walker going to submit him? I don't know. Is he going to knock him out? Not really sure. Julius Walker's tough. I don't think he's going to be the one getting finished. And I think he's going to be able to outlast Cerqueira. But I do think he's going to hit him with big shots and wear that gas tank down pretty quick and do it in the first couple of rounds. So Julius Walker, round 1, minus 150. Also taking round 2, plus 380. Even that money out. Distribute it to where no matter what, you are going to make money. But this fight, man, this is sketchy all over it. Be very careful if you're betting on this one. All right, Christian Leroy Duncan, Eric Anders. If you didn't know, this is going to be Eric's retirement fight. He came out and said that earlier on in media day. I just don't like that, man. I've always had a thing about betting on these guys in the retirement fights. They've got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I don't know how committed he is to it. I don't know how hard he's been training. I mean, you look at guys like Dustin Poirier. Like, yeah, he looked phenomenal leading up to the fight, in shape to all hell. Just couldn't quite get it done anymore. He just wasn't, as fast. He was eating a lot of shots, and that just has to do with getting older. And it's the same case here with Eric Anders or anybody who's thinking about retirement or who is at that age. Anders up getting closer to 40. I mean, you look at his opponent here, who's a lot younger than him in CLD. I mean, CLD is kind of, I'm not going to say he's been a bust in the UFC because he hasn't had that many fights yet, but I think a lot of people expected more out of him. He comes in, he beats Dusko Todorovic by knockout. He loses to Armin Petrosian, beats Dennis Tululin, beats Claudio Ribeiro. These are all guys that, if they're still in the UFC, it's a miracle. They should have been cut by now, and if not, they are cut. Loses to Gregory Rodriguez pretty badly and beats Andre Pulayev by decision. So the guy will float around the outside. He will be very patient, which I hate. But he does have power in the hands, and he's very crafty, and he lands these spinning elbows. And, on the ground, he's got submissions. He's got takedowns. This guy can kind of mix it up, and I think he's going to do that exact thing here. I mean, Eric Anders is going to have to come out, get the wrestling going, and lay on him and wear CLD down. I just don't think he's got the explosiveness. I think CLD is going to have the youth and the speed and probably the cardio and energy to just at least defend, land knees, land elbows, and eventually, I think he could catch Anders with some of these shots. Anders was dropped badly by Jamie Pickett a couple of fights ago and then had to resort to the wrestling to get that win. I believe he got hurt by Chris Weidman pretty badly in that spot before he turned tables on him. He gets hurt pretty badly by Marc-Andre Barrio in that fight. So this guy gets hit. he gets hurt, and I think Christian Leroy Duncan's going to have chances to find the target. I just think he's so much faster. But also, if Anders starts going to the wrestling, puts himself in a bad situation, CLD's got those long arms. He's got a submission on his record. He knows what he's doing on the mat. Wouldn't be surprised if he jumps on the neck too. So my official play for this is going to be CLD by knockout or submission. So CLD by finish, plus 150. Good plus money there. I just, the retirement thing here has me worried for Anders. The guy's taken a lot of damage in his career. If he hasn't been fully locked in this fight, or for this fight camp, I think things could go bad for him. They could go south in a hurry. And CLD's a guy that, although he hasn't always shown it, the guy has power, he's crafty, and can definitely find knockouts or submissions. So CLD by finish, plus 150. That's what we're rocking with in this spot. Gene Matsumoto versus Miles Johns. And, quietly, Miles Johns put together a pretty decent UFC career so far. It's nothing that's going to get him title shots or anything like that. But, for fighting at 135 in this division, he's done very well. I mean, kind of been an up and down roller coaster type of guy, but he's got way more fights than I remember for some reason. Beats Cole Smith, Kevin Natividad, Anderson Dos Santos, Vince Morales, Cody Gibson, Douglas Silva Andrade. So these are names of guys that are tough outs, solid. His losses, Felipe Lima, no contest, Dan Argueta, loses to John Castaneda, loses to Mario Batista. Those are good fighters, man. So in this spot, though, the one knock I've always had on Miles Johns is that in the striking department, he's got power, just let the hands go. He seems to kind of be looking for that one big shot. And if he could just put together combinations, get his boxing going a little bit more, I think he'd have way more success. And I also think it would set up the takedowns a hell of a lot more than it already does. 3.16 significant strikes landed per minute. 44% accuracy. Just don't love to see it. I mean, it's why Felipe Lima just pulled ahead of him. He had way too much volume for him, and Miles Johns was just, one shot at a time. I think it's going to be the same case for Gene Matsumoto. Matsumoto lands 5.18 significant strikes per minute. He mixes in almost 3 takedowns per fight. This guy is extremely active while he's in the cage. He is constantly throwing something. Lands 90 against Brad Katona. Submits Dan Argueta. On the Contender Series, landed over 100 significant strikes. The guy will come in. The guy will battle. Maybe he gets hurt and gets hit with big shots from Miles Johns, but the in-between that happening every time, I think Gene Matsumoto is going to be racking up a lot of shots on his own. If Miles Johns wants to go to the wrestling, he's going to have to watch his neck, because Matsumoto is good at least jumping on submissions, using them to get back to his feet, or taking the back. And when he has you there, he's very good. He's very solid on the ground. He's a lot younger. The guy is 16-1. He's shown a very impressive resume. I think he gets this win over Miles Johns. I really do. He's the favorite, but I think Miles Johns is going to be extremly tough to finish. He's shown it in the past. I mean, Felipe Lima hits hard, has good jiu-jitsu. That was a decision. Who am I thinking of? The only guy to really knock him out, Mario Batista. Mario is a guy who's about to be fighting in that top 10, top 5 type of area. So I'm going to go with this fight to go to a decision, with the winner being Gene Matsumoto. Just everything I mentioned here, the volume, all of that. The wrestling might do a little bit for Miles Johns for a while, but also I want to mention that Miles Johns hasn't always looked great in the cardio department, where Gene Matsumoto has gone to 3-round wars with guys and been able to throw and swing late. So, yeah, all these reasons, I think Miles Johns will tough it out, but I think Gene Matsumoto is really going to put it on him as far as the volume goes. So, Gene Matsumoto by decision. And that's sitting at minus 120 right now. That's going to be the official play for this fight. But I'm excited for this one, man. It's going to be a scrap. 135 fights, always a lot of fun. All right, Andre Fili, Christian Rodriguez. Oh, man. CRod has a lot of success when these guys come in as prospects and they're undefeated and he gets to take their O. That's where he really shines. And another thing that if you want to notice, the guys he's beating are guys that gas out. They're guys that come out here with a wrestling-heavy game plan and can't submit CRod, then CRod turns the tables. I mean, we saw it against Austin Bashi, Isaac Dolgarian. Cameron Simon was more of a striking fight. CRod actually used his wrestling there. But the one before that, Raul Rosas Jr. I mean, Joshua Weems looked to try to wrestle him and lost. Fili's not going to come out here with a wrestling-heavy game plan. He may go to it if he feels like he's in trouble or anything like that. But Fili, from range is a very good striker. The guy hits very hard, too. We've seen him hurt a lot of people in the UFC. We've seen him find knockouts, has a good head kick. while this fight's standing too. I think Andre Fili is going to look way bigger. He's going to look longer. CRod is 5'7". Andre Fili almost 6 foot at 5'11", 74-inch reach. Like, I think there is going to be significant advantages for Andre Fili on the feet here, and I think it could give CRod trouble. And if CRod wants to go to the wrestling, I don't think he's the type of wrestler that's going to control Andre Fili for a whole bunch. And CRod hasn't really proven to be a big finisher whatsoever. He's got 1 submission out of his 6 wins in the UFC. Everything else is decisions. There's 2 ways I think you play this here. I think you just take CRod by decision. It's plus money. It's plus 110. Or you take Andre Fili on the spread plus 3.5. So he just has to win 1 round. I don't really see. I think CRod's tough enough to survive, and I don't think Fili really has that submission game like a Julian Erosa to where he's going to snatch something up here. So you got to pick which one you're going to take. You're going to take Fili to win 1 round unanimously on all judges' scorecards, or are we taking CRod by decision? I'll tell you what. I'm going to go CRod by decision, just based off the fact that I think he's going to, work. He's going to work a lot while he's on the feet, land decent volume. And I think he is going to mix in a little bit of grappling here, and he's going to have to. And I think it's going to be enough against a Fili who's been in a lot of fights, not so much older, but as far as his, UFC career is, he's getting a little bit later into it now. He's pushing 35, 36. CRod's making improvements. He's younger in the game. He's hungry for the win. I'm going to go CRod by decision. We'll take that one at plus 110. Good fight, though. Another good test for CRod here, but it's not against a prospect, so I'm not going to be surprised if something crazy happens in this one. All right, Angela Hill back again against Yasmin Lucindo. You're talking about older fighters. Angela Hill is also a girl who is 40 years old on the dot, so it's always a concern, but women's MMA, they seem to be able to fight a little bit longer. They're not taking as much damage as some of these men's divisions. Yasmin Lucindo just found out about fighting vets in her last spot. Winning against Lemos, got taken down, got controlled, and it wasn't really a good look because she came in as a slight favorite in that spot. And, to beat Angela Hill, I honestly think she's going to have to go to the wrestling a little bit. I think Lucindo's striking is pretty good. It's just a little bit low volume, whereas you've got Angela Hill, who's not going to knock a ton of people out, but she's constantly throwing everything. Knees up the middle. She's going to throw leg kicks. She's got she's going to get their combinations going. And I think to the judges, it's going to look like Angie is working way, way harder than Lucindo throughout this fight. Lucindo's just going to have to get the wrestling going, get it going early, and rack up some control time. Look for submissions. I think that's how she's going to have to beat Angie Hill here. Angie notoriously has had good cardio. I've seen her kind of slow her down. Like, the cardio isn't looking as dialed as it once was when she was younger. But that's just a factor of age. She's still in these very competitive fights with basically everybody she's fighting. So, to come in here again as the older fighter against Lucindo, who's shown that she can lose at this level. She lost to Yasmin Jauregui in her debut, and she lost to Amanda Lemos. I don't really know if Angie Hill is on the level of Lemos at this point in her career, but what I do think is that Angie can win the 3rd round at a very high clip. Hill's also notoriously been pretty durable too, so that's going to be my play here. I'm taking Angela Hill plus 3.5 spread, which means she's got to win 1 round on the judges' scorecards. I think that she can definitely do that. It might even be the 1st round. Maybe Lucindo's getting her read. She's lower volume, and Angela Hill's just out there piecing her up a little bit, looking good to the judges. The judges love them some Angela Hill too. So not going to take her straight up to win the fight, but I do think she can win 1 round. Plus 3.5, Angela Hill. That's the official play for this fight. Co-main event time already, boys. Steve Erceg, Ode Osborne. Ode Osborne is just a guy that right when you think you're about to count him out on his career and you think he's going to get beat by the new up-and-coming guy, he goes out there and he knocks out Luis Gurriel. Gurriel is a guy who is notoriously tough on the regional scene, eats a lot of shots, just marches forward, has big power, trains with Brandon Royval, a big training partner with him. And he wasn't really looking that great in that fight against Ode, I didn't think. Ode was out striking him. He took Ode down once. But in that 2nd round, man, Ode just landed a beautiful left hand, knocks him out, and that was the end of the fight. If that happens here, we just saw Steve Erceg go out there and get knocked out by Kai Kara France. So it's not that Steve has like an invincible chin or anything. Like, this guy gets cracked a little bit. He gets hit. The problem here with me, with Ode, is that Ode gets hit too. And Ode, when he gets taken down, especially after round 1, he's a little bit susceptible to getting submitted. We saw Ronaldo Rodriguez be able to control him badly in that second and third round, especially the second round. The ref could have stopped the fight at one point. We saw Jafel Fio submit him. We saw Asu Almabayev submit him. Tyson Nam knocked him out. Manel Kopp knocked him out. Brian Kelleher submitted him. So, I mean, for Steve Erceg, what's your best path to victory here? I mean, you're going to be, let's see, what is Steve Erceg? Yeah, I mean, you're going to be slightly taller, slightly longer reach, I believe. No, sorry, shorter reach. Ode's got some long arms, 73 inches. So, I mean, I guess Ode could sit there at range and throw that left hand a little bit. I just think Steve Erceg's boxing, he throws decent volume. He's got good boxing. I think it's going to be a little bit slicker. And also, you look at who these two have been fighting. Gurriel was a debuter. That's who Ode Osborne fought in his last fight and beat. Steve Erceg had a title fight against Alexandre Pantoja, which went tooth and nail. He made one mistake in that last round that cost him the fight. After that, it's Kai Kara-France. After that, it's Brandon Moreno. Like, these are the three guys that are always fighting for titles. Pantoja, the champ. Kai Kara-France just fought for the title. Brandon Moreno, who had a couple of fights with Pantoja and is always in title fights or in the top 3. So, I mean, Steve Erceg, 3 fights, and then he got a title shot. The guy is still new to the UFC, only 6 fights, and he's fought all of these guys so far. Stepped back down in competition, needs this win. I just don't see a world where Steve Erceg is going on a 4-fight losing streak, especially after dropping down in this type of competition. Ode Osborne will be ready, obviously, and he's going to be dangerous, especially in round 1. But I think Erceg can invest in the body. I think he can march forward and get into these boxing exchanges with Ode, and he's going to be more technical. Not that he's going to be more fast than Ode, but I think the precision will, be on point for Steve Erceg. And if he wants to go to the wrestling and grappling, I think as the fight goes on, he'll have those opportunities. I actually think he's going to welcome Ode to start shooting shots on him and, kind of reverse position, use his strength, get on top, look for submissions of his own. And I think he's going to have that route to do there too. The only thing he's got to watch out for is the big left hand from Ode Osborne, which could happen in the first round. Ultimately, I think one of these guys is getting finished. I would say it's Steve Erceg winning by finish here, but I'm not going to put it out of the realm of possibility that Ode gets another knockout in this spot after Steve Erceg just got knocked out not long ago by Kai Kara-France. So I'm taking this fight to end by finish, sitting right at minus 200. I think both these guys are going to be susceptible, but also have that shimmer of hope to find a big knockout or find a submission. If it's a sub, I think it comes on the side of Steve Erceg. That's how I'm actually leaning for him to win this fight. But either way, fight ends by finish. Minus 200 is going to be my official play for this fight. All right. Main event, Fluffy Hernandez, Roman Dolidze. This is interesting, man. This is Grappler's Delight. You got Roman Dolidze, who's more of a jiu-jitsu guy on the ground, and you got Fluffy Hernandez, who's more of this guy is going to wrestle you until you can't stand anymore. The guy has been just known to drown people. We saw it in his last couple of fights. We saw it against Michel Pereira badly. I was super impressed with the way he won that fight and how dominant he did it after, people thought Michel was going to go out there and land those big body kicks and find some kind of TKO. But Fluffy Hernandez on the feet isn't terrible either. It's not like he's a guy that's going to go out there and get a ton of one-shot knockouts or anything like that. But, he's very, very effective, and he uses everything to set up a takedown. Or, if he eats a big shot, he's very good at surviving and getting onto your back or finding a leg and just working from there. I mean, submitting Roman Kopylov, knocking out Michel Pereira, TKO, beats Brendan Allen very easily after that first round. TKO for Edmund Shabazian, submits Marc-Andre Barrio. This guy is constantly going out and finding the finish over good levels of competition. Kopylov, Brendan Allen, Shabazian. I mean, submitted the black belt hunter himself, Rodolfo Vieira. I mean, this guy's been very impressive. He's on a run right now. He's got so much momentum with a win over Roman Dolidze. It's going to be hard to deny Fluffy Hernandez a title shot here coming up very soon with all of these wins he's racking up. Now, for Dolidze, he's a guy that is good with his jiu-jitsu, but he uses it to get in dominant position. Then he's going to land ground and pound. He's got big power in the hands. He's got heavy hands. I would say he's got more heavier hands. It's not that he's throwing like crazy, but when he lands, he definitely does damage. Landed a ton of significant strikes and beat Marvin Vettori. Gets that win over Kevin Holland when Kevin Holland hurt himself, it looked like. Beats Anthony Smith by decision. Oh, loses to Nasruddin Imavov, loses to Marvin Vettori before that. Roman Dolidze in this spot, I think what he's going to struggle with is just the cardio, if I'm being honest. I think on the ground, like with those two rolling and grappling, I think he keeps up for the first round, maybe round and a half. But Fluffy, you know what he's going to do, man. He's not going to stop. He's going to do it over and over and over. And actually, while this fight's at range, I think Fluffy's going to have the faster hands. And if you start getting Roman Dolidze tired, I think the striking is going to open up a little bit. He's going to start to come alive. And then he can even still work in the takedowns and stuff later in the fight, which is just overall just going to give him this big advantage. But the cardio is king, man, especially in a fight like this. And for all those reasons, I think Anthony Hernandez is going to come out and really run away with the fight in round 3, 4, and 5. 5-round fight for Roman Dolidze just doesn't sound good. A 5-round fight for Anthony Hernandez sounds like right up his alley, especially against the guy who's been known to slow down a little bit. So in this spot, let's see. I'm looking at, this is the one that I haven't locked in yet. I was kind of waiting for the show to just look through everything and figure out what we're going to do here. Because it's interesting. I mean, fight to not go the distance, -210. I don't really like that number for this type of fight. You're looking at Fluffy sub round 3 plus 1,100, sub round 4 plus 1,400, round 5 plus 1,600. Oh, let's see. I wonder what it is just for him to get a finish in those rounds. Let's check it out. Fluffy round 3 plus 750, round 4 plus 850, round 5 plus 1,000. Not really digging that either. All right, here we go. I'm going to go fight does not start round 5 at -145. That's what I'm going with. Roman could definitely find the knockout or hurt him into a submission early in the fight. I just think at some point he's going to gas out. I mean, everybody that does against Fluffy, you can have good cardio against Fluffy and gas out. The guy is just that relentless, and that's how he wins fights, man. He drowns people. He'll find the finish late. I don't really see this one being any different. So that's what we're rocking with. Either of these guys can find a finish. I think they are going to do it before that 5th round. Fight to not start round 5, -145. Official play for the main event. And that's the last fight on the card. So I appreciate you guys once again for tuning in one more time. If you guys want to support me and the channel, Better Picks in the App Store, code Nolan, 100% deposit match bonus. You deposit $100, they're going to give you an extra 100 on top of that to play with, and you can win up to 100 times your money. I know some people that have hit them before. It's big money. It's a lot of fun. It's one of the most fun ways to watch the fights when you got some DFS lineups going. So check out Better Picks for me. Would appreciate it. If you want to get all of my plays, you can do so at winnable.com/HOFpicks. I haven't missed. We've profited in 6 weeks in a row now, and I'm up over 20 units in the last month. So we've been absolutely crushing it. Steady as can be, as consistent as anybody out there, I promise. Let's see what the code is. Code APEX this week. You're going to get them absolutely free with a free trial for new users. So go to winnable.com/HOFpicks. Shout out Legendz. If you guys are looking for a book, a social casino, it's a lot of fun. They'll let you play for free if you want and give you daily rewards and gold coins, or you can get sweep coins, play slots, blackjack, all the table games you can think of. They've got every sport you could think of, MMA, props, all of that stuff. I'm going to link it right down below. Sign up at Legendz. You can use it almost anywhere in the U.S. It's actually one of my favorite books because all the options, the slots are super fun. I mean, you guys are really going to enjoy it. It won't let you down, I promise. Go check it out down in the link below. And once again, I appreciate all of you guys for being here week in, week out. The channel is still growing. We're about to hit 6,000 subscribers. The road to 10,000. After we hit 10K, we're going to 50. We're going to 100. I don't care how long I got to do this. I'm going to be doing this for a long time. I'm not going anywhere. Appreciate all you guys for making this happen. Without you all, I wouldn't have the motivation or the drive to make these videos every single week, to sit down for hours and look at tape and edit and all of that stuff. So again, Like, I like doing these giveaways when I lose because I appreciate you guys and I love giving back to you guys. And I'm going to have some stuff planned in the future. I think every pay-per-view card will probably do some kind of giveaway regardless, whether it's $100, $250, something like that to you guys. So make sure you're watching, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you're alerted every single time this video is posted. And please drop a like, drop a comment. We got a big week next week at UFC 319. I might be there in attendance. I'm waiting for a few things to see if it's going to come through. But as always, thank you guys so much. Let's hit these bets and ride hot going into UFC 319. We'll see you next week for UFC Chicago.